Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Pastor Shay, aka Chaplain G, coming back at y'all with another word of encouragement for today. So, as you can see, I'm not in uniform today. You know, I got the Clemson paw going on. Y'all know how we do. Anyway, still in the class that I've been taking. It's almost like a personal development course, but with the aim at improving the quality of the force. So it's a really cool course. I look forward to talking about it with y'all, but that's not what I want to talk about today. Check this out. There's sometimes stuff that goes on in this world that's like you can't believe everything you hear. And so we got all kind of media, like news sources, TV shows, radio podcasts, Hollywood personalities, all these kind of different messages that are always coming at us, always being thrown in our face, always like trying to take us away from what we know or believe to be true. And so how do we sort through all of this stuff? Like what's our base? What's the thing that we can understand? Like here's the plumb line, here's where the standard of truth is, and everything else, anything that moves away from that, I know, I can tell, like it's just not true, and I don't want to ingest it. And so the book of 1 John gives us a way that we can do that. It gives us a way that we can look at the world and say, that's not true, and I want to reject that. This is the book of 1 John. It's chapter 4. Check out what this says. There's a way that we can read it and apply it in a general sense. There's another way that we can read it and apply it directly to our Christian lives. So I'm going to read it both ways, but y'all check this out. 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. It says this: Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. So right there, we can read that in a very general way, right? Like all the messaging that we hear in this world, all the stuff that is just bombarded at us day by day by day, test it out. See if it's true. I read this book recently called 1984. Man, if y'all haven't read it, it's a great read. It kind of, in a way, prophetically speaks to a lot of the situations that we're encountering today. But one thing that the people didn't do in that book, that as information was coming toward them, they didn't test these spirits out. They didn't test out the messaging to see if it's actually true. They just kind of went along with the flow. And the more you go along with the flow, right? There's that saying, the person that doesn't stand for anything will fall for anything. The person who stands for nothing will fall for anything. I think that's how that saying goes. But that's how we can apply it in a very general sense, right? Like everybody should be testing every piece of messaging that they hear to make sure that it jives, that it makes sense, that they can receive it, right? And this is how we could read this in a Christian way. So many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God. And every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard was coming and is now in the world already. So, in a Christian sense, you could tell some of that messaging when people say, like, trust me, trust my messaging. Don't worry about that Jesus stuff. Like that's antiquated. That's in the past. That you don't have to receive that anymore. You don't live your life by ancient Near East mythology and stuff like that, right? There's no such person as Jesus, or Jesus, if he did exist, is not God. It says those kind of messaging, that kind of thought process, that kind of worldview, it says that's not from God. And so here it gives us a very clear articulation of what we're looking for as truth in this world. It says don't believe everything that you hear. Some stuff, it may sound fancy, it might sound right. There's some valid points that the world can make. There's some helpful tools. the power of positive thinking. There's other stuff like eating healthy, thinking right, centering yourself, meditation, like all that stuff. It might sound helpful, and sometimes it might be helpful, but if it denies Christ, it's not from God. That's what that verse is saying, right? And man, in this world where so much is coming at us on a daily basis, so many forms of media, whether it's the news or social media or our friends at work, our colleagues, our family, we get so much thrown at us. It's helpful to know that there is actual truth out there, and it's up to us to test those spirits out, to test that messaging out, to make sure it's right. So my encouragement for you, don't just believe everything you hear, but test it out. That's my encouragement for you. But I hope y'all doing good, man. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all know how we do over here. Thank you for your continued support. I appreciate y'all. And I love y'all. Until next time, grace and peace.